Go. Part Midnight Texas Prologue Chapter. The tale of the new guy. The man powers the now power of his family member of his life that he left when he was an infant with a woman who raised him away from his real parents. One day in the RV, there was a young man who was only 17 years old, living in this RV with the spirit of an old woman who raised him when he went up when he was a baby. And she took care of him and did not tell him who his real parents were in his life. That there was a man coming after him, that the other woman did not tell him what to do about this man, that they had to drive to a new state to live a life, that city a town far away, that it was called Midnight Texas. That he would be living there instead of being in a place the man could find him and try to hurt him because of the woman who left solely to do her dirty work. He was driving to Midnight, Texas. That it took him a long time to get to the town. That he would be living there for a few years of his life. He got to Midnight, Texas. He parked his RV and got out, told the woman to stay in there and that he would be right back to don't not worry about him. He walked to the pawn shop that he brought nails by a dealer here in Midnight, Texas. It was free from the guy. So are you, Tony? I'm the man. You bought one of my houses next to this shop to help you enjoy this place that you to look like one of the people at Midnight, Texas. I think you're the relative of our Reverend Ilmaio Skinchin. That you look like him, that your face features look just like him, that you could be his son, and not just Tony. How about we go to the church and you could meet up with him and anyone else in the world. So let's go right now and put this hat on to cover your face from the sunlight, because you're getting a burn on your face, said the man, grabbing Tony's head and dragging him to the church. See this so-called man who looked like Tony. They got to the church and walked into the building. Everyone looked at the two men standing in the church. The one had a hat on, and the other one was holding his arm. They looked at the Reverend and back at the second man, and they looked at so like in face features, and it looks like they're in a mirror of a reflection of both of them in the same room. The man walked up to the other man, looking at each other. Their faces were alike. The one moved his hand on the other man's face. That it was like he knew the other male man, that he was someone that he left behind, or was taken away from him when this man was a baby. The Reverend was his real parent, until he was his own lost son. It was taken away from him, his real daddy. So is that you're all grown up and you look just like me. How old are you now, and who took you away from me? I thought you were killed in the fire at our hometown. So the Reverend smiled until he was smiling back at him, and they were back together. Wait, you're my dad? I thought the old lady told me that I did not have parents, that I only had her, my grandmother, who I believed was not actually telling the truth when I was a kid, that took in me away from my real parents, and that I was left alone with her, and that now she is dead and can live a life with the man that should have raised me, and not be raised by a spirit of the old lady who lives in the RIV, that she is making me go through with this man who was chasing me. around the different places around the world that I can't have peace knowing he is after me instead of the old lady woman. Oh yeah, I'm only 17 years old and will turn 18 years old on April the 8th next year. That she told me I was born April 8th, 2000. It was the year I was born. So how long was I it when you thought I would die in the fire of our hometown? So I looking at the Reverend, who was shocked that he knew the year that he was born and how old he was. His son was 17 years old. They had been gone from his dad for 17 years of his life. His dad's life, being away from their hometown. It's okay, son. You are here back with me that I would never let anyone try to take you away from me ever again, or not let anyone try to hurt you in any kind of bad way. I love you, Tony Alexander Brown, Bowen Scheming. Sir Evan looking at his son, who felt that he was back home in his real life and not in a life with the old lady in the RV he lived in for 17 years of his life. He was back with his real parent, his father, such dad, the one who should have raised him, his boy, instead of the old woman taking him away from his daddy, and the other person who also should have raised him when he was an infant, when he was born into this world of life. They looked at each other, and the Reverend went back to do his work, and that he had to do for the people who were waiting to go back to the church reception that he was going on with them in town. As his reception was done, that the Reverend and his son walked out of the church, and that the sunset hit harder onto his skin. That his dad had put sunscreen on his son's face. It was not liking the sun, meaning he was getting the other person that so he has in his family that does not like to be in the sun, that it would have burned his skin being in the sun for too long. They walked to the diner. The woman looked at the two men staying in the diner. Hello, Reverend, who you have a visitor without. But he looks just like you and someone else in their little small town. He is like to that person in that town. His skin is so red, does he not like the sun, or is that a kind of condition for his skin? Said the woman to the Reverend, who smiled at her, and he was his son, the other person that can't go in the sun, that he would get to burn up, change to dust, but his son does not have the other man's DNA that he has of the Reverend's DNA in his body. Because we could go in the sun. He was not used to the sun here in Midnight, Texas. It would be different for him to be out of the sun and walking outside. He would so get used to it now. Used to it by now. Get used to it now. Well, actually, he is my son. Yes, he does not like someone in does look like someone in this town, but he would not have the other man's DNA, but he does have all my DNA. Is by right, son, but he does not like the son, so it means that he has some of the other man's secrets in his body, but that would soon be told when he meets the other man that he looks like when it is nighttime in Midnight, Texas. So could you please get us a table so I can get something into my son's stomach so he could feel a little bit better being in this new town that he would be living here with me and the other male man in this town we call home. So the Reverend smiled at his son, who was studying all these people in the diner. to which other male he looked like rather than said who was standing next to him in the same room. Well, here you go. A table for two. You better eat up. Eat soon, because the sun will soon said it would be the dinner time meal for everyone, including the man who I think you are talking about, who only comes out at night time and not daytime, so the woman's belly had the two men who smiled back at her when she walked past some other people in the diner. Don't worry about her. She does not mean what she had said to you. Say you would like the other man who you would meet very soon. He would be shocked and happy that you finally came back into his life. That is the same way I'm feeling now because it has been 17 years since you have been gone out of our lives, that you are now finally back into our lives and not in another city or even another state in the world, said the rabbit, smiling at his son, who smiled back at him and found what he would eat for lunch.